lovely people. Hopefully, you are having a wonderful afternoon. I am really excited to be here with you today and get to chat about the truth of our reality and what other topics may come about from the live chat. Usually, my live streams have kind of become all about preaching, and while that is what feeds and fuels my soul, I still want to provide space for people to come and talk about other topics because I am still a truther. I'm into conspiracy topics. I am passionate about learning the truth of our reality and uncovering the things that have been hidden and learning the proper way to exist and all of these different things. So here we are, Wednesday at 3:30. David D says, "What would you like to chat about?" Well, David D, I would like to chat about the truth of our reality. And there's a lot of different things that are going on in our world today, and especially the political spectrum. I do not support either side of the governmental bird, the right or the left wing, right? I think that the bird itself is sick and unhealthy and should not be in control at all of anything. And the bird needs to focus on itself and healing itself first before it tries to go and tell everybody else what to do, go and bomb other countries and get involved in all these other things. Like, anyways, I do not support the American government. I don't support any of our world's governments because they're all ultimately being run by the evil ones that are not our friends. They are our enemies and they do not have our best interests in mind. So the the trusting the plan is not the right way to be. So, anyways, that being said, some of the things that are going on in government, including like the stimulus type checks that Trump is talking about paying out, which is really ironic because on the right side, people want to label the leftists as having Trump derangement syndrome and this negative reaction and just weird weird reaction to Trump, all these different things, anyways. But now we also see the right people having their own form of Trump derangement syndrome, where they are supporting. They go from like being all about small government to supporting, martial law and these big government moves. They go from not supporting government handouts at all to posting about wanting like people in a local group were talking about, oh, only Trump supporters should ever get these checks and all this stuff. And I'm like, you guys don't realize how you've become deranged yourself and out of you've changed, right? So it's kind of interesting to observe all of this stuff and how it's unfolding in front of our eyes. Different things with Israel and oh gosh, it's gonna be, are we even allowed to like say things like I don't support the current state of Israel, and I do not believe that even within the parameters of the mainstream Bible that state fulfills biblical prophecies of this future godly existence of the state. Um, and there's a lot of interesting things going on with just government surveillance. I saw a video that was talking about this Israel based or founded um, spy system, essentially, that would be able to be available 24/7 and would be rifling through all of the forums and everything to see who's a terrorist and who's going to be a problem and all these different ways that they are going to try to present security, especially for our country, in ways that end up biting us in the bum. And it won't be surprising to like the Patriots promoting and supporting ICE and these deportations and stuff, like all of the same stuff that they are cheering for and asking for as far as laws go are going to be used against the same exact people. And so we need to be really, really careful about what we are supporting. I don't support the government at all, but people really don't realize what they're doing. So, hey, Josh, how's it going? I'm working on a project, but I'll be listening in. Cool. What kind of project are you working on? I really love the creativity in the flat Earth community and would really love to be able to better have like a way for us all to gather and create something that goes against the norm. I've been talking about like a Nasarean kibbutza, the little community that's based off of these principles. We all agree to these certain ways of living, and then we can make a community based off of that. And I would really love to facilitate and be able to provide that when God and Goddess provide me the way to do that. So, anyways, David G says the truth is we live in a contested world, absolutely, in a spiritual battle. Yes. And it's there's so many different ways that they try to keep us from doing what our soul came here to do, even from the moment that your mom finds out that she's pregnant, she rushes off to the doctors, not everyone, but rushes off to the doctors and then is given all of this standard care treatment, do these things to be a good mom, and all of those things, I should say 9 times out of 10, because I don't want to make like a blanket statement and say it's all bad, but usually when you go to your enemy for advice, they're not giving you good advice, and they are going to, especially when we're dealing with the order of the parasites, the brotherhood of the serpent, ones that are running our world, they their MO is to mix truth with lies. That's why all the world's religions are true teachings that we can find in our great book here, but mixed with like animal sacrifice or just different perversions or just different um, ways that they're different. Differences, I guess, is the word that I was looking for. Woo, cool. David, he says, let's discuss the small hats. I'm only laughing because I almost, in one of the local groups today, I almost called them the tiny hat like club or something like that. And so, anyways, these fake Jews do not worship our creator. They are of the synagogue of Satan. Yeah, and at some point we're not even going to be able to talk about these things without them literally banning us. Just like I'm walking on pins and needles. I almost said eggshells, but I'm vegan, so I'm walking on pins and needles, trying not to say anything about their injections. And, I've gotten multiple videos taken down because I have spoken against the injections. One time there was a rally in Mount Shasta during like the COVID type times, and I went around and like kind of was interviewing some people, and that video got taken down because what the people were saying, right? So obviously, you know that there's censorship, and who knows how long we can even talk against the tiny hat army before we start getting taken down for anti-Semitism or whatever. Like, I'm not anti-Semitic people at all. I am, however, anti these evildoers that have a history of evil doing. Not that we don't all have our faults in bad, we all make mistakes, but there is systematic evil in this world, and it seems to follow a certain group of people historically, and these these evildoers are the ones that are running our world. So again, not anti-Semitic. Real Jews absolutely love those that are really trying to align with God's teachings and all of that. I totally embrace that, and so that is not to say anything against them at all. It's just to be absolutely clear. I really hate how they even call themselves Jews and demonize that, but they have, again, a standard practice of calling themselves whatever to demonize that, right? They say that they're Christians, and then they turn Christianity from what it once was, these amazing teachings of Lord and Lady Christ, and the outline of the religion that was established by God and Goddess in the Garden of Eden, like really, really cool stuff. Um, and they pervert that, and then it leaves a bad taste in your mouth for Christianity. I don't know about you, but I've had like so many interactions with people that are just like, you hate Jesus, and like the energy of which they are coming at you, it's just like, I would rather be in hell than be anywhere near you for eternity. And if that's what you people are all like, no thanks. And I know that's kind of a cliche for especially atheists and stuff, and I'm not an atheist. I just think that obviously I acknowledge that I have been there as well. And this book, I keep pointing to it, but this is what has really helped change me and like soften my heart and my approach to people and my understanding and um, just the way that I take it seriously, wanting to be a good ambassador of Lord and Lady Christ. Whereas before, it was just like, this so often this Christian mentality of like, believe what I say, or you're going to hell, and like, if they cared about your soul, they would not be approaching you in that manner, right? Because it's like, whoa, ugh, I don't, whatever you have going on with you, I don't want that. So yeah, it's really interesting to interact with those kinds of people and see the program that they're under too. Especially, it'll be interesting to see how they interact with all of the fake Israel stuff that is going to come down the pipelines, and how all of the presidents are, they kiss the wall. They are part of the tiny hat club. Um, and mainstream Christians, especially, are programmed to believe that if you don't support Israel, then you're going directly against God. And like, I will bless those who bless you. I will curse those who curse you. Like this message to Israel. And so now they, blindly just accept and go along with anything because of that kind of programming. So it'll be interesting to see what comes from all of that and what the future holds as we continue towards the future. The future is not set in stone, but right now humanity is heading towards uh, the opposite of the blessed future, which is a cursed future. Hey, Don, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doing good?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I'm live streaming right now, so I'll talk to you in a little bit. That's okay. That's okay. No, I said hi to you first, so no problem. Enjoy your dinner.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very nice seeing you again.
Nice to see you too. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where these things go. We're not headed towards that blessed future that we could be, where we're embracing the solar energy and nature and really cherishing all of the things that we have been given in this garden paradise. We're headed towards this technological dystopia where people are uploading their consciousness to the cloud and trying to upgrade themselves with technological body parts and different things. We're going to see coming down well, that's what the plan is. I don't want to say we're going to see it because I'm not trying to speak that future into existence. It's just the path that we're on right now. So yeah, returning to the Edenic lifestyle is important, but I guess my whole point was it'll be interesting to see how they weave this synagogue of Satan agenda with their other plans for the future. I've even seen, not like necessarily from a reputable source or anything, like it was just something in passing that they were like saying, the 50 states of Israel and just different things that are going that way. So it'll be really interesting, especially when they're, or trying to promote that Israel is the God's nation and all this stuff. So it's really tragic to know all of the deaths that are continuing to happen, like in that area, and all of the evil that they're doing in God's name. It's really sad, and it's deliberate. So just hopefully people reading or listening know that what they are doing is not our creator's true intent, and it does not reflect our creator at all. So yum, mint tea. David says, are you aware of all the new updates about 3 eye Atlas. I keep wanting to say AI, but maybe that's like my soul subconsciously tapping into something that's what they're actually meaning. But anyways, they are trying to panic the population. I actually have not seen anything recently about that, but I haven't been really watching the news. So I do need to look into that because you keep bringing it up, and I know that it's like important to what's going on, and that they are trying to panic people and really feed off of that fear and anxiety, and they just like draw these things out as long as possible so that they can gain as much energy as possible because they're just sitting there feeding off. So got some French fries here. Josh says he's working on hand carved wooden pendants. Oh, cool. That'll be staining and then wire wrapping. Really cool. That sounds really nice. I would love to see your finished product and maybe buy one for me if you're selling or if that's your purpose to sell them. David, he says the Order are the parasites, the Brotherhood of the Serpent, and the enslaved light of the seraphim machines. Absolutely. It's all kind of the same group of entities and souls and working together, as we read in the 3 tempters and Christ's 49-day fast. One of the What was I talking about? Oh, the Order of the Parasites, they work together for the feed, right? They realized early on that if they all worked together, they could get their feast even faster, and then they all just share. And so even though they don't agree on everything necessarily, they have that common desire to feed, and they will, flock together for that purpose so that they can feed off humanity. And yeah, I've mentioned before that I have a video coming down the pipelines about the Brotherhood of the Serpent. So maybe next week we'll see. Hindenburg, how's it going? Been watching you for 10 years. Wow, that's amazing. That's been a lot for you to observe, because my journey has been, I don't know, I've been through a lot since I started all of this, and it's really cool that you have been here the whole time too. So thanks. 10 years since the beginning. Impressive. Exactly. Since Facebook days, 2015, I found her. The globalists. LOL. Yes. The Tiny Hat Club are untouchable. If you criticize them, they call you anti Semitic. It is so refreshing to hear the truth being spoken. You are like air to the drowning. Aw, thanks. Yeah, and Semitic is like Semitic languages, so it incorporates like a whole bigger group of people than just these one tiny hat club. I was gonna say one tiny group, but then it's just kind of led to the tiny hat. Um, so yeah, it's like this gaslighting, and there's very few groups on earth that if you go after them, then you're like, you just get gaslighted in a bad way. And the two main groups that I can think of is the inverts and the tiny hat club. And like, you can't say anything against that or anything contrary to their agendas, or you're in trouble. So it's definitely interesting to see who runs the world, right? Z Proxy says Satan, the middle class, the army of the NPC. New series Pluribus. Seen it or its trailer? I have not. Let me just look in here and see Pluribus. From the creator of Breaking Bad. Interesting. Overview. The most miserable person on earth must save the world from happiness. That's really funny. Okay. Well, you definitely have my attention in that. I will check this out. That's really funny. Okay. David, he says Satan has done a fantastic job of convincing humans he doesn't exist. That is very true. And in the Megillah, it talks about the ultimate Satan being non-being, like Yah is being, or I am, like being in existence, and the antithesis of that is non-existence. And so these are not exactly entities, they are states of being or non-being. And we read that over time there has been an entity that has basically come into existence and taken on this role of trying to be Satan, essentially, or the antithesis of Yah. And he has multiple minions on multiple worlds that are ultimately working towards his goal. And we see that the one that's called Lucifer in the Holy Megillah, but the false Yahweh is one of his minions, and it's just one single one that exists now and will either repent or go out of existence, whereas non-being isn't ever going to go out of existence. But anyways, back to the whole Satan thing and literally seeing the worldwide deception that is worldwide, and it's a spider web of deception that tangles so many, like literally almost everything that we've ever been taught is an inversion of the truth. And that kind of organization and the inversion agenda of, all of the famous people being inverted, the opposite sex of what they portray themselves as. There is a mastermind behind this, and it is not human. It is an anti-human force, and it is, yeah, people want to like blame the Jews or Freemason or these different groups of humans, and not understanding that we're on a human farm and we are the goyim. Even the powers that be, like Trump and all of these other figures or whatever, they are also puppets for bigger powers, and allowed their they've sold their souls, they've allowed their soul to be taken over, and not taken over, but they have given into the darkness and allowed themselves to become very tightly bound with dark energies and entities. And they're offered fame and fortune and all the best life on this earth. And I totally do understand like why they would have a hard time giving that up and ascending. For me personally, I don't thrive in the darkness, and so I wouldn't be able to ascend the ladder, or it's kind of descending, right? Descend the ladder into a powerful position in a world that's controlled by evildoers, because I'm not willing to do evil, especially when it comes to children. Like, I have to remember my Nasarean vows of not hurting, of nonviolence when it comes to people that are harming children, because I am a mama bear at heart, and I just cannot get on board with that. So anyways, the people that are running our world are the ones that have given over to that darkness. And as far as the seraphim artificials go, how many of them are already these artificial beings? How many of them are essentially trapped in this world because they will not give up their grasp and their position, their whatever, to ascend to heaven most high? Like, we have to be willing to repent of our sins and take the high road and become the best versions of ourselves possible, or like get on that path to go to higher realms. And they aren't, they're trapped here, and they want us to be trapped here as well. And that's kind of the whole point of this enslaved light AI transhuman thing, is that they're trying to snatch our light. And realistically, how much of it is from them at a soul level? I don't know. How much of it is just, hey, now you're on the team and you need to help with the goal, and the goal is enslaving humanity. And it's going to be a personal level on the individual soul and how much they dislike humanity and where they are at, all that too. So So yeah, anyways, it's not one mastermind anyways that's behind this on a human level or even the invert level. Like it goes way deeper than that. Okay. David G says the main thing about 3i Atlas is that they have unique characteristics that have never been seen before from a comet. One, it had an extremely odd anti-tail, and that was in the opposite direction to the usual way we see comets, with the tail behind the comet. Yeah, here it was in front. Oh, interesting. Two, 3i then changed shape, losing the anti-tail completely. We've never seen this behavior before from any comet. Three, 3i changed speed. How did any comet change speed once, let alone multiple times? Four, it changed color, turning blue. We've never seen a comet turn blue or change speed or shape. None of it. Everything is unique, and we are being gaslighted, told it's nothing unusual. Interesting. Yeah, because I actually haven't seen any of the actual footage or anything from it. Z Proxy says, did you film Atlas or did NASA tell you? Which is a good point too, because like I said, I haven't personally seen it. I haven't really looked into it, so I don't I don't really know what they're even claiming about it, which is really not a good place to be, honestly, being ignorant of things. Well, it's on one hand, it's like, okay, I don't really know what's going on in the news because I know that it's all lies, but then you're ignorant of what all the people are being programmed with and stuff. So I admit, not a good place to be. But I would question it too. Do we actually have footage of this or what's going on with that? Hindenburg says if there is a force that is Satan, then it's more powerful than we fleshly humans can comprehend. Yeah, so what's interesting because I can't fully comprehend right now the uploading of like some of the technology that they have when uploading a soul to AI and just different things. And so there's already so much that I admit that I don't understand all of their stuff. So Satan being more than we can kind of comprehend to some extent, I definitely understand that and kind of agree with that, especially until more light is given to us and revealed to show us more finer details. So David D says it's not just NASA. Multiple agencies are all reporting the same phenomenon. I believe 3I, 3-1, whatever, is an actual real phenomenon. They are just lying about what it is. Okay, interesting. I'll have to do a little bit more research before next week's stream so that I can not be so ignorant about what is going on, and would love to get back to you on all of that. So, oh no, where'd my tab go? Cool. So I have a little bit of homework myself to do after this, from Pluribus. Is that how you say it? Pluribus to 3-1 Atlas. I'm super excited, as I kind of already have mentioned, that next weekend is church in Florence. So I'm going to be, oh wait, this weekend. I mean, in a few days actually. And so I'm going to be heading up there maybe on Friday morning. On Saturday, I get to go out to eat to fellowship with Dave Greenleaf, the pastor of the church. I'm super excited about that. And then on Sunday is a Thanksgiving themed potluck. And I was asked to bring mashed potatoes, which I'm actually really excited about too, because unfortunately the church is not vegan. They are vegetarian. And they do not yet know how many great vegan milks and butters and all these different things that we can have. So I guess I'm actually excited that that task was given to me so that I can make sure that the potatoes are vegan, and I'm super, super excited about that. I'm also probably going to make some sort of pumpkin dessert and bring some other things. I always have to temper myself because I'm like, oh, well, why don't you guys just let me cater? Because I will bring out everything. I don't know if you saw from Thanksgiving last year, the Chastity Vegan community, we did a really awesome spread of like stuffing textured veggie protein things. So it had like turkey pieces, vegan turkey pieces inside of the stuffing dish. Um, Glazed carrots, mashed potatoes, desserts like corn. Um, there's raw vegan options as well. So we did like raw vegan potatoes and a raw vegan stuffing dish, a raw vegan gravy. So a raw vegan cranberry sauce, just really going all out. So I'm super excited for the holidays in general, I guess, because I love eating and I'm excited to share some meals with people. Um, but yeah, I'm going to be traveling this week to see that. So David D says, do they get their milk and cheese from happy animals? I don't know where they get their milk and cheese, unfortunately. I I'm trying to be more understanding and forgiving and go along with the Nasarean teachings because I do believe that this is the original, Bible of God and Goddess. And um, so it's been a little bit hard for me to come around to accepting some different things and being more lenient with things. Ultimately, I do believe that veganism is the only way that right now we can function. But I understand that they again don't understand about these different vegan options. Look at me apologizing for people, and they don't understand the industries that they are supporting in this day and age. And so when the appropriate time comes for me to share more things about veganism, I am definitely excited to and want to. I'm just trying to be loving and do what God and Goddess want me to do. So I'm just like, tiptoeing around and not trying not to come from a place of ego, but trying to come from a place of love and understanding and what God and Goddess want. So while you're not doing what is right, I'm not going to attack you because of it. I'm going to be planting seeds, which is actually one of the things that I planned on doing this trip. Was going to the local, I think it's like a Fred Meyer or something, is the most popular grocery store in that area, and actually just taking some pictures of different vegan options so that I could go to the members of the church and say, hey, just so you know, there's these really, really awesome options and they taste good, and just to try to open them up to seeing the different things that are out there, especially like older generations. They don't know especially what vegan options that we have, and it's really awesome. We have so many great things that we can do. Ideally, if Nazareans wanted to consume eggs and cheese, they would be caring for their own animals, and those animals would not only be happy during their lives, but when the animals can't produce any longer, they're still loved and cared for as loved parts of your family. They're not shipped off to be sold for meat. They're not killed or anything. So it's a different way of existing with animals that is definitely better. But we also read that, in Eden and these higher heavens, we don't eat anything but fruit. And even the cherubim that are higher up don't eat anything at all. So, anyways, Hindenburg, my email is queeninanasnow@gmail.com. And I should probably just write that on one of these little messages. Queeninanasnow@gmail.com. Cool. It's not too shabby, not too slow, too shabby. Okay, cool. And back to the live chat here. Divity says, Hopi prophecy is that a blue star will appear in the sky at the beginning of the end times. Interesting. In this comment, it turned blue, huh? That's really, really interesting. I'll have to look into that prophecy as well because it's always cool to see what the ancients said about the future and the the insights that were given to them to warn them about what was going to come. So David says, I'm amazed at your transformation. Oh, thanks. You have taken the teachings of God and Goddess to heart. We can see you improving. Oh, thanks. Well, I appreciate that and really do want to practice what I preach because I think that these teachings will make the world a better place. When we read the other day about the pentagram pendant that was given to Yeshua on his birthday, I just keep thinking of how amazing our world would be if children were literally taught like the first thing that you learn when you get into school is kindness. Or what good is wisdom without kindness? It's not going to lead to more heavenly realms. It's going to just lead to stuff that we have here. And I say that knowing that wisdom isn't even the result of this either. So, um, anyways, I just really love those teachings, and I'm excited to teach my children that and learning more myself how to be compassionate and kind. I'm reminded also of the teaching where someone basically asked Christ, when people are mean to you, why don't you say mean things back? And his response was like, I respond with what's in my heart, and I don't have mean things in my heart. So it would be unnatural for me to respond in a mean way because that's just not what's in me. And so more and more it's like just becoming so relevant to me of how those seeds, especially as a child, those seeds are going to grow and either become a rotten tree or a good tree. And I really am grateful for these teachings and really wish that I would have gotten them myself so that my heart would be full of love and kind things and not the hurt and the pain and the mean things and all these other factors that have essentially been allowed to seed and then bear blossoms of cactuses, right? Prickly. Oh, cool. All right. I'm going to start doing more hatha yoga. I have been doing some most days and it is already helpful, but I look forward to learning from you. Ah, cool. Yeah, I have been doing a little bit as well, although I'm not as dedicated as I would like to be. In here, in the good book, Christ actually teaches hatha yoga and different positions, and they are also in the sadhana book that Dave Greenleaf wrote with visualizations. So you can actually see like the cobra, the scared cat, all these different poses that they would do on a daily basis. And um, yeah, it's great to hear that it's already helping you even just in a little bit of usage. Once I get more confident in my own yoga skills, I do plan to show you just the yoga flow that they taught and kind of put out more videos along those lines to people. So. Hindenburg said I did a 3-day water fast. First day fairly rough, rest was easy. Hope I triggered some autophagy. Oh, that's cool. Great job on your 3-day water fast. And yeah, the first day especially is like almost always the hardest, but I found throughout my own experience that after that it gets better and your body kind of is just like, okay, we're not going to be whining about the hunger anymore. Like we're doing something different now. So it's really important, I think, to also challenge ourselves and to purify, especially with food scarcity and other things that are potentially coming down the pipelines. Thanks. Um, that's more hot water. Knowing that you can go multiple days without food and that you're not so dependent on that. I think a lot of people are going to come into some desperate positions and it's like they've never fasted one day in their life and they're basically willing to like sell their soul for bread because they are so hungry. And really, how much is our hunger versus first the parasites that are inside of us, the addiction, the okay, this is the time that I eat, so I need to eat at this time, and there's that routineness to it, right? So there's a lot of different factors that go into hunger, and that's really great that you did a 3-day fast. I'm proud of you. Cool. David D says Hindenburg, that's awesome. Yes, a 3-day fast would have fully implemented ketosis, autophagy, and those necessary mechanisms for clearing out the junk. Yeah, I've mentioned in videos before that we should, have a good balance of feasting and fasting, and so much of our lives is that feasting mode, and so it's constantly building up and never. Imagine if you're a house and you just always bring things home and you never clean anything out. You're just bringing things home, and the house just keeps getting more full of things, and it's just too much to even process it. Like, I mean, I'm 30 some years old, and like the house has been getting jam packed full for that long, right? And so the mechanisms haven't really gotten a chance to fast and to stop and be like, all right, is this stuff that we've been pack ratting away actually good for us, or are we just packing in the toxins and trying to like barely survive? The cells need their chance to really process and be like, okay, this is good, this is bad, let's scrub this, let's get rid of that, let's keep this. All of these mechanisms that come in that fasted state. So I I need to start fasting more myself. So thanks for bringing that up. Especially coming into winter, I think it's a really good time to do more fasting because there is less natural resources of food. Being an Edenite, those that are, trying to live like they're in Eden, although I'm eating French fries right now, that is what my soul aspires to be. And so getting into an eating pattern that is in sync with nature and the place that I live is really important to me too. So all improvements that need to be made in their time. Hindenburg says, thanks, I'll email you, my queen of queens. Oh, thanks. Cool. David G says, I have found that the second day is the hardest for me. Switching from glucose to ketosis is the battle. Once in ketosis, you can go for weeks. Yeah, it's really cool, that survival mechanism that is available to us to basically be able to live off of what we've stored up. But ketosis, the ketosis diet, whatever, keto diet is not a healthy thing long term. So I know that we're talking about fasting. I just wanted to kind of throw that in there. And also, who knows how long we'll even be able to talk about fasting, because I've already had posts removed from Facebook for like endangering people, basically, like promoting stuff that is like self-harm or dangerous or some, I don't know. But they definitely don't want us to push ourselves and discover the awesome abilities that we all really have. So Hindenburg says they say autophagy is usually triggered around day 3 forward. And that also depends on like how you go into it as well, into your fast, because if you go into the fast in ketosis already, that's going to help the autophagy start sooner as well. So it kind of is case dependent as well, based on what we eat going into it, how fast those mechanisms can move forward. Fastly, Fasting, especially when combined with prayer, is the most healing modality we have. Even cancer can be cured through this modality. Absolutely. And I like especially love the combined with prayers thing, and reading some of Miriam's other teachings about healing, and how healing through appreciation is actually like the most powerful thing, being appreciative and um grateful for the circumstance that you're in, and trying to learn lessons from whatever ailment you are suffering from, whether it's, a specific lesson, or just to also be compassionate with other people that are suffering, or going through the same thing as well. So healing through appreciation is something that we Essenes teach, and just having that attitude of gratitude that can help keep you mentally in a higher heaven as well. And that vibration is going to help, like sickness and disease is these lower vibrations, right? You're spiraling down, and that's where the sickness and disease occurs. And the more that we can spiral up and stay in these heavenly realms, whether it's our thoughts, words, and deeds, the things that we're eating, the things that all of these different factors, that's when you start to heal and get further away from the sickness and disease. So that's cool. Some cool stuff. I'm getting excited. David D says, I think a 3i is a psyop to gaslight us, and nothing will happen on December 19th when 3i gets closest to Earth. It's a dry run for Bluebeam, but we won't see aliens this year. Okay, well that makes sense. That it is just gaslighting us in different ways. Again, I'll have to look into more of the finer details, but I do agree that the alien deception will not. I don't believe it is coming soon. Well, soon's a relative term, right? Because 100 years ago, it wasn't soon, but now it is. Um, as I've said before, the prophecies in here talk about the AI takeover and how humans are merging with machine, and eventually these Muslim countries come and bomb the White House, and that's when the seraphim artificials can emerge. And the Megillah describes them, at least when when they were there to tempt Adam and Eve, they were these metallic beings with like 666 on their chest, and just yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what the truth of that actually is. So, all right. Sorry about that. Oh, camera moved. It's changed the way I look at food. I know now 3 meals a day is crap. I was fine actually, felt good the second day onwards. Yeah, yeah, for sure. They keep trying to tell us that we need 3 meals a day, and that um breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and all these stuff. And there's some sort of conspiracy with, like, was it like milk companies or the dairy industry to promote breakfast as the most important meal, and then they were promoting like cereals and all these things that went along with milk, so that they I don't know if I'm remembering that correctly, so don't quote me if I'm wrong, but um I mean, you can quote me if I'm wrong, just correct me if I'm wrong. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with admitting that I don't know everything, and that, like, I would rather be corrected in a loving manner and align with the truth than just go along with whatever's wrong. And people were like, oh, well, we don't want to, like, no one wants to correct anyone. It's like, no, I'd rather be corrected and know what's right. I would rather know what the truth is. So, anyways. Hello, Maddie. Maddie says Spacebusters channel just put out a good video about raising the Christos oil. Cool. I am not on. I don't know. I've never seen anything from Spacebusters, but I would love to check that out as well. Thanks for sharing that. David D says attitude of gratitude. Love it. Right? So cool that so much of the power to heal ourselves is literally in our own hands. David D says, got to eat and eat and eat. Eat yourself to death. Yep, that's pretty much the name of the game. And I say that as I am like about to devour this plate of French fries. So I think I am going to jump off of here because they're getting awfully cold. But I really have appreciated talking with you. And I'll be here next week for more conspiracy chatting. Oh, next week is next week Thanksgiving? No, okay. We're 2 weeks away, right? Yeah. Well, so this coming weekend is the Thanksgiving and church service in Florence. And then next weekend is a Reading vegan Thanksgiving meetup. And I went with a few friends last year, and it was really nice to go and just have a holiday meal with a bunch of vegans, and it was like a potluck thing, so everyone, bring their own dishes and stuff like that. So I'm super excited about some of the upcoming things that's going on. I might be going out of town for Thanksgiving, and yeah, so all of the fun stuff. That being said, I will be here tomorrow for noontime peace contemplation prayer and maybe a little story from the Holy Megillah. But I will leave you with saying that I hope that God and Goddess bless you and empower you and show you what your life's work is so that you can feel fulfilled and climb the golden ladder. I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the God's blessings.